I just want to give my thoughts and catch up with y'all. I took a bit of a break in July. I haven't made a video in a minute. I missed y'all. I had a really busy July. I went to a Quince. That was really fun. I took a trip to Colorado to visit several friends. And that's actually where I was on the Barbie premiere night. And I went to Barbie on opening night and forced all my friends to go in Colorado. There was so much to look forward to for that trip, but the thing I was looking forward to the most was watching the Barbie movie on that Friday night, opening night. And it was amazing. Hello and welcome back to the Miscellaneous channel where we do miscellaneous things. I'm Selene. I typically cover TV, pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things on this channel, so subscribe if that's your vibe. So this is not going to be like my typical movie review because this is a movie in theaters. It's going to be in theaters for a little while. I can't put in footage for a full recap. I've actually seen the Barbie movie twice now. When I came home from Colorado, the next day I was bored in the evening and I was like, why don't I just go see Barbie again? And so I did. And I actually want to see it a third time, but I can't find anyone that wants to go with me. I went by myself to the second time I went, so maybe I'll just do that yet again. But I kind of want to wait till the hype dies down because it's been kind of hard to find seats in these first couple weekends. I do want to give my disclaimer about the strikes. This is the only piece of action that I saw that content creators in my situation should do to show solidarity with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. This video was written and recorded during the 2023 WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Without the labor of the writers and actors currently on strike, the Barbie movie being covered here would not exist. So yeah, I watched the Barbie movie. I loved it. I did have some things about it that I thought could be improved upon, but overall, I loved it. I had such a great time. It has been such a unique and interesting phenomenon this summer to witness the whole Barbie madness. I feel like it's the first thing post-pandemic that has been so ubiquitous. Like, it reminds me of like the big franchise premieres of like Harry Potter movies or like the Twilight craze. But the Barbie madness has been really, really fun for me. It's been really interesting though because like I am a pink obsessed girlie, as you can tell by my set and my outfits and my makeup and everything about me. And this obsession kind of started in 2020 with the Chromatica era for Lady Gaga. I liked pink before that, but I think 2020, it's when hot pink started kind of coming back a lot. I think because usually when society is in a dark time, kind of like brighter, happier things start to become more mainstream and more popular because people want that escapism. I think that's loosely where my embracing of pink started. I think pink is like a permanent part of me now. There's something really interesting about growing up and becoming a full-fledged adult for me in the last few years, and that like at a certain point you start picking like your permanent aesthetic, your permanent taste really develops. I feel like when I was a teenager, my favorite color would be blue, then it'd be purple, and be green, and be red. But as an adult now and approaching 30, I feel like I have more fully formed my sense of self and my taste and what I like and don't like. Pink has been like a big motif for me in that. Soon I want to like re-dye my hair again to fully pink. I've just been totally avoiding it because it's been so hot here in Texas. You can't go outside for a minute without sweating through everything. I don't want to deal with it until the weather gets cooler. I kind of don't want to have it pink fully again because it's so much work, so much maintenance. But at the same time, like, I can't picture myself without pink hair. Like, it's part of my identity. It feels like it's my natural hair color. I would feel so boring and not myself with just brown hair. So I don't know. I think I'm keeping the pink for the time being. And someday I'll have to like take a break or something. But that's a different topic. I just found it so interesting that this year, this summer specifically, it became all about Barbie, and it feels like society as a whole, or like the cool part of society, you know, there's always like the anti-Barbie, you know, whole thing, which I don't even care about. The majority of society has embraced pink this summer, and I'm just like, welcome. The pink obsessed girlies have been here and will be here when the era passes, but it's cool and interesting and weird. And I'm like, it got me thinking about like, how do the people feel that like liked a thing and then all of society is suddenly looking at that thing and obsessed with it for like a moment and then it passes. Like, I wonder how people that were like obsessed with vampire fiction felt when Twilight happened. And I love it, honestly, because first of all, I was prepared for doing a Barbie photo shoot with my friends and for the movies. I have outfits to see the Barbie movie an infinite amount of times. That's another cool thing about this being such an event, is that every screening I've seen, virtual or in person, everyone's dressed up. Everyone's dressed in pink. Like, it's kind of like my dream scenario, and I'm sad that it'll go away at some point. You know, it's like, now that everyone's here loving pink with me, I'm like, don't go. It's kind of one of those things of just like, you just gotta enjoy the moment when it's here, because it's not going to be there forever. Another kind of pro to like your aesthetic becoming mainstream. Why is this like an advice video? I think another cool thing about like your preferences or aesthetic going mainstream is that like there's a lot of products around it. So like every brand on the planet released like a pink version of their product because of the Barbie thing. Some was collabed, some was not. A pink litter box for your cat and shit like that. It's just been interesting, something I've thought about, and I would love to hear if y'all have any experiences like this where like something you loved. It's also kind of like the thing where like I knew that band before they blew up kind of thing. Have you ever had a thing that you really liked become super mainstream and in the spotlight for a time period? I would love to hear about it in the comments, because like I'm trying to think of other examples, and I'm sure they're out there. So as you can tell, this video is kind of rambly. I want to talk about the movie, but I also want to unbox some things I bought, speaking of online shopping, that are strictly Barbie collabs for the movie. I've been waiting to unbox like the soundtrack with y'all. But first, I want to talk about my thoughts on the movie, because I was so excited. It was such a beautiful experience watching it. I just love how femininity is being celebrated in this. Like, all the Barbie land scenes, of course, were my favorite. And I thought the movie's biggest strength was talking about femininity and masculinity and the patriarchy in a way that is very interesting and fascinating and like interesting to discuss with people. Like, this movie got really deep, and I was expecting it to be a plot very similar to like Enchanted and Life Size. Like, I expected the movie to be the plot of those two mixed together. The cool thing about Barbie was that it was a little bit of that plot. It was a little bit of the fish out of water leaves their world for the real world and is like shocked, culture shocked, whatever. But the key difference with this was that Barbie did not have a romance story as like the main plot, the way Life Size and Enchanted did with the men. You know, there's some like interpretations of like, was Barbie gay with America Ferrera, you know, and that's like an interpretation. And I liked how the Barbie movie left a lot for interpretation in everything, every aspect of the movie. Barbie's journey was about self-discovery. It was very existential. It was very much about learning to be human and then choosing to be human and to live. I feel like that was the overall message of the movie. If you don't recall, the plot is Barbie lives in Barbie land and starts suffering weird anomalies that are human, like she starts getting cellulite, her feet get flat. She consults a weird Barbie to help her out, and she has to journey to the real world. Stream Tame Impala on Spotify. In the real world, she has to find the girl who is playing with her and making her feel existential and think about death and have flat feet. She finds America Ferrera's character, who's not a little girl, but a woman and a mom. She's the one who has been projecting her inner emotions and thoughts onto Barbie. Ken tags along on the journey to the real world, and in the real world, Ken discovers the patriarchy and takes those ideals back to Barbie Land without Barbie and implements it, changes Barbie Land from being controlled by Barbies to being controlled by Kens and resembling the real world a lot more. So Barbie comes back to Barbie Land, and Gloria and her daughter have to help her restore Barbie Land from the Kens. And they devise a plan to turn the Kens against each other to fight. While they're fighting, the Barbies take over Barbie Land again and decide to have a slightly more equal society of Barbies and Kens. And Barbie's ending involves having like an existential conversation with Ruth, the inventor of Barbie, and Barbie ends up choosing to be human and goes back to the real world. And the movie ends with her attending her gynecologist appointment, which symbolizes like her going from a doll who doesn't have genitals to having genitals. So that's the plot summary from my memory. And you notice how I did not include one particular plot point because it really did not affect the plot at all or the story. And that was the Mattel parts of the movie. So Mattel funded this movie. They collaborated to make it happen. Will Ferrell plays the Mattel CEO, and there's this boardroom full of older white men that represent the board of Mattel. It's supposed to poke fun at leaders of a company whose big toy is Barbie don't represent the women that they're trying to serve with their product, right? And that's a fine commentary to make. I mean, it makes sense. Like, the movie was whimsical, it was campy, and it's not meant to be realism. I don't care that much about Mattel or companies inserting themselves into a movie that much if it's done well. The problem with the Mattel thing, Will Ferrell and all the men are chasing down Barbie in the real world because they want to close the portal between the worlds. Because if they don't, bad things happen. Kind of. Like, it's not very explained. It's kind of abstract, which is fine. The movie presented itself a little bit abstract. So they're trying to chase down Barbie. They have this chasing that I admit was fun. It's the part where Speed Drive by Charlie XCX plays, you know, love it, sure. The men in suits are chasing her, and they almost put her in a box, which will return her to Barbie Land, but then she runs away, and they chase her. Barbie takes Gloria and her daughter back to Barbie Land. The men in suits run after them all the way to Barbie Land. Unfortunately, after that, like, that plot goes nowhere. In a lot of stories, a lot of the times you have your everyday kind of villain and then your big bad villain that poses a threat to everybody, including maybe the everyday villain. I don't know why this is the only example I can think of, but like Malfoy being a villain for Harry Potter in his school life, and then Voldemort is like the actual rival and nemesis and villain of Harry Potter. A lot of stories will have this like smaller antagonist and then like the real antagonist. And I feel like in this story that got really mixed up and it got kind of confusing because after Ken learns about the patriarchy, he takes it back to Barbie Land and messes it up with the patriarchy. I thought Ken was supposed to be that like more local everyday villain because he's still a part of Barbie Land. He still has a history with Barbie Land and the Barbies. The true antagonist should have been Mattel. That's how they set it up in like the first half of the movie. They take back Barbie Land from Ken, but then no other antagonist comes in to threaten the characters, the heroes. There was like a missing plot point in the climax of like, okay, we took down the patriarchy in Barbie Land. Now Mattel is here and they're arriving and they are posing some threat. They are gonna pull the plug, I don't know, something, and Barbie and everyone has to stop Mattel. What ends up happening is that they take down the patriarchy, and then Will Ferrell comes in and is like, I'm so moved by all of this. Like, I don't care about the bottom line. I care about little girls and their dreams and all of that. Like, that would have been fine after, like, a fight. We needed a big fight between the true antagonists and everyone banding together. Like, that could have been a moment for the Barbies and Kens to band together, like, after they just had conflict. But obviously, if Mattel is, like, funding this, they're not going to make themselves the real antagonists at the end. So I do feel like I don't fault Greta Gerwig or Noah Baumbach, what's his name? The husband. I don't blame the writers or directors for this. I do think it's just, like, Mattel just being too scared to be the villain. Even if at the end Will Ferrell gives the same exact speech of, like, the dreams of women and whatever. Just Mattel arriving to Barbie Land had no point, and there was no conflict that came out of that. They did not provide any conflict, and I thought that was strange, and it was, like, definitely the weak point of the movie. It could have worked. Like, when I've talked to people about this movie in real life, like, a lot of them are just annoyed at Mattel including themselves at all. I don't care that much about that if the story is good. And I think those plot issues made the movie kind of like an 8 out of 10 for me, even though I still love a lot about it, and I'm gonna rewatch it a lot. Especially, like, the climax and onward. It started getting very fuzzy, like, the roles of each character and heroes versus villains, and, like, who am I supposed to care about? And the other thing that kind of goes along with this, that was my complaint, is that Gloria and her daughter were not very fleshed out as characters. We didn't get a lot of context about them when they were introduced. The script never answered, like, why should I care about this character? I think Gloria's character was an executive assistant for Will Ferrell and wanted to be a designer for Barbies. I think that's what I read online, but, like, that wasn't clear from my 2 viewings of the movie. It wasn't clear why she was having sad thoughts. I think it's because of the teen daughter being withdrawn, but, like, why is the daughter being more distant? And why is the mom having dark thoughts about death and existential thoughts? Maybe it's not answered on purpose because Greta Gerwig intends for us to project ourselves onto Gloria. Like, Gloria is kind of a blank canvas for women. I don't know. I would have preferred knowing more about the character so I could fall in love with her, especially because she delivers a monologue at the end that summarizes all the struggles and contradictions of being a woman in the real world. I think that monologue would have landed more if I just, like, had more attachment to her character. And that's just kind of like a subjective preference thing. But if they had just lifted Mattel completely out of the movie, like, don't even acknowledge Mattel, all that time could have gone to developing Gloria and the daughter. I would have loved that a lot more. I think they could have made it work better with Mattel too and done that route. But my ideal Barbie movie would be, like, no Mattel, no Will Ferrell, and more Gloria and daughter background. Because it was also interesting that Gloria had a husband. The dad was in the picture. It was kind of funny. They, like, treated him like a Ken in the plot. I thought that was actually really refreshing and cool. Like, it would have been cool if Gloria was a single mom, sure. But also, it's refreshing to show a woman who, like, has a decent life, still going through, like, anxiety, depression. And I think that was kind of the point of, like, Gloria having a decent home life. But I would have still liked to know more about where the darkness comes from, or more just about Gloria and, like, her life and her interests and her desires. It's very background to the rest of the movie. Her character is really important, has this key moment at the end, so, like, I wanted to fall in love with her, but I know nothing about her. Those were my 2 big complaints about the movie, but literally everything else, like, I'm obsessed. Barbie Land? Are you kidding me? I want to live there. I strive for my set to have a little vibe of Barbie Landness. The music, of course, the soundtrack is everything. I was following every single release. I was following every trailer. The soundtrack feels like it was made for me. Ava Max and Tame Impala and Dua Lipa. Like, hello? That's, like, everyone I have a t-shirt of, aside from Lady Gaga. I would have died. That was the only piece missing to the soundtrack. We had Nicki Minaj on there. Like, they nailed it. So speaking of the soundtrack, let's start unboxing. I really want to learn the choreography to the Dance the Night sequence because I've been kind of, like, doing dance workout classes lately and really enjoying it. And I feel like I'm reconnecting to like something that brought me a lot of joy as a very young girl. That's dance. And when I was watching the movie, I feel like the choreography didn't seem that hard. And I was like, I think I could learn it. But then I couldn't find any videos on YouTube of like the official choreography from the movie. So if y'all see the choreography of Barbie come out, let me know. I'm gonna learn it. Not for a video, but for myself. Just to have it. Just to have it in my head. Speaking of the soundtrack, we're just talking about it. This is the physical copy I ordered when it came out. I have not opened it. Oh, I need scissors. Be honest, did y'all buy anything for Barbie specifically? Did y'all see all those bots of like the Barbenheimer t-shirts under every tweet? Those were so annoying. Like, who cares about Oppenheimer? There, I said it. Who cares? Everyone cares. I was asking my friends that and they were like, it's Christopher Nolan. And I'm like, oh, I forgot people care about him. Sorry, no shade. I don't plan to see Oppenheimer. I don't know if anyone was questioning. There it is. It's like asleep and then... Okay, so it comes with a poster that I kind of want to put up behind me. This is beautiful Margot Robbie. We stand. The bag is so cute. I love that photo where she's waving to everybody. There's the CD. Oh my god, it's so vintage, I feel like. I kind of collect CDs because maybe it's part of my fantasy that I'll be a DJ someday. I get CDs of like all my favorite releases that come out. Like, it has to be really favorite, though. Like, Lady Gaga albums, Charlie albums. So, yeah, Mark Ronson produced this. That's why I had hoped that Lady Gaga would be on it eventually. There's a booklet, notes from Get a Gerwig, Mark Ronson. They don't actually have lyrics in here. I don't think I've listened to the album front to back. I've just seen the movie and, like, paid attention to the singles. I love Speed Drive, obviously. Oh, I love Ava Max's song. If y'all don't know, I'm a Maxi Pad. I'm like a Ava Max stan now. Kind of random, but I love her. Oh, and Dance the Night, of course, Dua Lipa. Those are my top 3. Speed Drive, Choose Your Fighter, and Dance the Night. Also, the Nicki Minaj remix has grown on me. So that's the album, and it came with a poster. I loved the Barbie movie. I feel like I ragged on it. I complained. I gave my main complaints, but like so much of it was so beautiful, and like I loved feeling seen as a woman, as like someone who appreciates femininity. I loved how the Barbies in power were allowed to be glamorous and feminine, and that was like a strength. Or like when she talks about like, I'm in a position of power and I balance my emotion and my intellect equally, and it was just so sweet. And like I love when she goes to the real world and sees the Miss Universe contestants as like the Supreme Court. Like, yeah, why can't our Supreme Court look like that? Like, I would respect them so much more. I know a lot of people don't feel that way. So this is the poster. You've probably seen it online. You need to flatten it out. But I love how like clean it is. There's no text on it. I kind of want to put it up back here, even though now I'm out of room. I redecorated during my break. Actually, Cameron did. Cameron helped me put up some new art that had been sitting next to my desk forever. I have more, don't worry. It was very interesting to think about the gender dynamics, and I liked how in the end they kind of left it ambiguous, because a lot of people keep saying in their reviews like, oh, at the end, the Barbies agree to give equal rights to Kens. But there's one line specifically that I recall that's like Issa Rae or somebody says, maybe someday here, Kens will have as many rights as women do in the real world. And I feel like that was a key line showing that like Barbie Land is not gonna be as fair as they're like saying it. And it's meant to be this kind of reverse mirror of our society, because women still have a lot of struggles in the real world. Comparing like the Kens and how that's the kinds of rights they'll have is not a compliment or like a good thing, I guess. Even though I guess women do have like basic human rights here, but like it just felt like this is interesting to chew on. This is tangent to the album, and this was definitely an impulse buy when it came in the mail. I forgot completely about it. So this is the cassette version of the Barbie soundtrack, which, like, I don't know why these are a thing these days with the hipsters, with the kids. It's hilarious. I grew up with these, of course, like anyone born in the 90s. I think I just bought it because the cassette is like see-through pink, and I have like a thing for see-through pink stuff. Oh, that's adorable. Look at that. And the cassette, honestly, this is good to just put in like my set, and that's probably why I got it. Because I mean, obviously I'm not playing it on anything. I don't have anything that reads cassettes. This is so like nostalgic, like wow, this is wild. Like, why do they make these? This is gorgeous though. This is everything. So those were the soundtrack thingies I got. And I am definitely going to put this like on my set. Because like, it's just too cute. I also did get the Barbie collab Crocs. Because I'm always, at all times, 24/7, wearing hot pink Crocs. So when I saw they had a Barbie collab, I was like, I need that immediately. Yes. They're not here yet, so I can't review them here, but here is me modeling them after they came in later this week. Better work. Come girl. Work it, girl. This is the last thing I got that was Barbie related, but it was the Cotton On Barbie collab. A lot of clothing stores had collabs going with either Mattel or the Barbie movie. And these were just like the cutest, and I like them. They got me an Instagram ad. The first thing is the shirt that I'm wearing. It's like a tank top. And if you look closely, it says Barbie like all over it. I like how subtle it is because it kind of just looks like a solid little tank. But it does say Barbie and it's cute. And then I got this other shirt that's more of like a cropped short sleeve one. This shirt is more of the logo used in the movie. And this shirt is more the toys logo actually, and this one's really cute, just comfortable. I wore this on my trip to Colorado, and I did impulsively rip a hole. Where is the hole? If this isn't neurodivergent problems, like and then my favorite item that I'm excited to wear more this winter, I took it to Colorado because it actually gets chilly there, but in Texas it is above 100 every single day right now. But this is a hot pink Barbie hoodie. I love the logo they used. I love that it's big. Oh, and the back has this is actually what I wore to opening night because it was a really late showing, and it was chilly in Colorado, and I was so excited that I could actually wear a hoodie. Those are the clothes I got. I feel like I deserve a round of applause and everyone being proud of me because that's all I bought for the Barbie madness that went on this summer. Granted, I also got this shirt, which is not Barbie related, and a bunch of other pink stuff just because that's just my regular shopping. I'm glad I showed a little bit of restraint. I feel like I did a good job picking and choosing what I would really use and want, except for the cassette that was an impulse buy. But now that I see it, I think it's great for my set, and I think that's probably the logic I had for it. I love the whole spectacle of Barbie. I think it's unfortunate that like a big lesson or thing that Mattel wants to do now is make their own Mattel cinematic universe. The headlines for this are so ridiculous because it's like Barney movie with Daniel Kaluuya that's dark and twisted in the works, and like Hot Wheels movie with The Rock or whoever. Like I am not ready for like Mattel to make every single toy they've ever made into a big budget movie. It really is all about story, and you're not going to recreate the Barbie movie by just making really safe projects, because that's the spot that Disney is in right now, and they're just rehashing and making the same things over and over. So I do think Barbie, it was like right place, right time. Like people are looking for fun post-pandemic. They're looking for events that they can take part in. I love the dressing up of it all. It's easy to dress up as. I think it's harder to dress up as Barney. So like, it's just gonna be hard to recreate this Barbie thing. And from now till eternity, Mattel is gonna try to outdo it and probably fail. Like, we don't know for sure. There may be some good ones if they really like keep it artsy, but like, I don't know. I don't trust corporations like that. Usually the first thing is the best thing and everything else is just trying to like recreate it, replicate it, and it's not going to work. Honestly, if we're gonna go all out into Mattel Cinematic Universe and shit, then I want Barbie to have a million spin-offs by a million different kinds of directors. I would love for whoever makes Bratz to make a Bratz movie that's like elevated and artsy, not the cheesy one from back in the day from the TV movie. No. Like a real Bratz movie that's like edgy and cool. And then maybe we can have like the Bratz versus Barbie movie and they have to go to war with each other, like King Kong versus Godzilla shit. Like if we're gonna go there, then let's fucking go there. I want my feminine version of whatever these weird monster crossover movies are that I've never once in my life seen and don't understand. Let's make the Barbies and Bratz fight, and that'd be kind of funny. In all seriousness, I think Mattel is just gonna be annoying for a while. We'll see how it goes, but I think this is a big peak for Warner Brothers as well. The Barbie movie will be streaming on Max, formerly HBO Max, this fall. So I have heard that. There is no sequel planned, but I'm sure Mattel's going to make it happen whether Greta agrees or doesn't. Like, if Greta doesn't want it, they'll give it to somebody else, I think. Yeah, it's such a good movie. I could talk about it forever. Like, Ryan Gosling's performance. I love Margot Robbie. Like, Margot Robbie's physicality is something not getting talked about enough. Like, she had the doll movement down, and I love her for that. She's such a gem. Like, this Barbie and Barbie summer and moment is going to be such a, like, unique thing. It's going to be a marker of this year of 2023. It's breaking records for like the highest grossing female directed movie. It's going to cross $1 billion at the box office. I'm just so excited that I got to be a part of it, got to enjoy it, and that like it was catered exactly to my niche corner of aesthetic that I love. Literally feel like my Tamagotchi necklace belongs in Barbie land. It was such a love letter to women, or maybe not even women, just a love letter to femininity. And that's like everything I want from my media all the time. And it's sad it happens once in a while, but I think I'm glad the Barbie movie set this precedent, and maybe it'll lead to more daring feminine projects. And that's all I can hope for. At the end of the movie, there's a really powerful montage of women just like enjoying life, and I've seen interviews that say that was all like casting crew submitted videos because Greta Gerwig wanted like sort of this real element to be part of the movie and be relatable, and it was just a really beautifully done celebration of femininity. Like, I'm obsessed. Also, I didn't even talk about Alan. Alan was awesome. He obviously is like some sort of stand-in for allies, queer people. He stood with the Barbies and helped them and was against the patriarchy. There were just so many details, so many cool things. It's so much to dissect. Like, a lot of it was left to interpretation, and a lot of it was abstract. It was camp, it was silly, but it was serious and existential. I'm glad I watched it twice to like, I feel like I got to really observe it the second time around. I would love to hear your thoughts on the Barbie movie, what you liked, didn't like. Do you agree, disagree with some of these opinions? It's very subjective, and that's what's cool about it. It's not like a movie hitting you over the head with too many things. There's a lot of it to interpret or read in different ways. So I'm interested to hear about like what lessons you take from it, what parts you found interesting, or especially the more like open to interpretation parts of it. And yeah, did y'all buy anything? Did y'all fall for any Instagram ads for the Barbie movie? I would love to hear about that. I hope I didn't miss anything, but if I did, I'm sorry. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed. I put out new videos whenever I feel like it about TV, pop culture, internet trends, and other miscellaneous things. And you can follow me at miscellaneous on Instagram or Twitter to find out about new videos, or just turn on the bell notification here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, Barbie!